Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about really just removing the ties that bind you, really unleashing yourself and your potential. So here's where it's coming from. I have 3 dogs. Those of you that know me well know that I have 3 dogs that I absolutely adore and love. Funny what happens when your own kids start to become independent. You start to talk to your dogs like they're your babies, and I do. But anyway, when I walk my dogs at our house, they have to have leashes on them. They've got to have leashes because without leashes, they will just take off through the neighborhood. And you know, you worry about cars in the neighborhood and whatever. But when we are at our property, at our cabin, they don't need leashes. They are free to jump and sniff and run and pee wherever they want. They have their leashes taking off. So I've unleashed them. So this morning as I was at our cabin, they were walking without leashes and they were having a blast. And I got to thinking how just an analogy for life that is. They were just doing their natural instinct. They were just being dogs. Like I said, they were jumping and sniffing and stopping to smell and everything. They were being who they naturally were supposed to be. And I got to thinking, you know, how we as humans, whether we know it or not, we start to put these constraints on us. We start to get pigeonholed into things that just because we're supposed to do. And I got to thinking about my sons in particular, who are now juniors in college, and they have declared their majors and they know the steps that they're going to be taking to graduate, but there's doubt and there's fear, which is not unusual at all for a college kid. But I've been talking to them recently about, you know, we have this internal hard drive that we're not born with it at all. We're not afraid to do many things when we're little, but somewhere along the line, we have been given this hard drive that makes us absolutely fear making mistakes, or it wants us to avoid being wrong at all cost, or avoid getting out of our comfort zone. Just avoid it. And the truth of the matter is that growth, and this is what I tell my kids, growth and comfort can't be in the same sentence, really. They can't coexist. Growth and comfort don't get along. So when you are uncomfortable, that's when you grow. So you really need to not be afraid of failure. And failure is not the opposite of success. So many times we think I'm successful, meaning I've never failed. And that's not the truth at all. It's all those mini failures, those mini picking ourselves up by our bootstraps that really do help us to be successful. Now, back to these constraints, these leashes, unleashing ourselves. I also tell my kids that it is so important that you really expand your mind. So you've picked out your major, and I had heard one of them say, you know, I think I like that. And again, it's so normal. I'm sure if you have college age kids, or if you've been there, done that, you've heard them say the same thing. I'm not saying my kids are any different, but I tell them that if you pick a major, sure, go ahead and pursue it, but always expand your mind and look at your natural giftedness and see if you can pull it out in a different way within that major. Think outside of the box. Don't pigeonhole yourself. If you've got an itch inside to do something with that major, then scratch it and go for it. Chase the dream. But don't feel, and one of them just said it yesterday, I have this fear that I'm going to be sitting in a cubicle for the rest of my life. Natural fear. But I just said, listen, think outside the box. Use your gifts and talents, but think differently with them. So don't follow your hard drive for this fear of failure, fear of being wrong. So think outside the box. You don't have to answer to anyone. Remember, an opinion is just somebody's thought inside of their head. So when you care about somebody's opinion, you're really caring about sort of a figment of their imagination. So don't do it. So unleash that puppy inside of you. Remove the tie that binds and remove the constraints, and don't pigeonhole yourself into something. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it forever. So again, I'm not telling anybody to go up and quit their job or anything like that, but don't pigeonhole yourself into something that you're not supposed to be. Use your imagination, use what you're good at, and maybe be in the same field that you are, but use it a little bit different and think outside the box. That's my video today. If you got any value out of this, please let me know. If you've got another idea about removing the constraints from you and unleashing that inner puppy that wants to frolic and romp and do what comes natural to you, then let me know. Put a comment below and tell me what your idea is. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and have a great afternoon.